little bit in case, because I do think there is this, most people, and given that now I've been to Megabook for 3 years in a row and I've been immersed in this world, now I know. But prior to all of this, and I think a lot of people think the same along the same lines, is that you write a book, and the writing of the book is the hard part, and then you get an agent, you sell it to a publisher, you get a big advance, and you sit back, and then you become rich and famous and get on Oprah. So that's not necessarily the case. So let's give us some kind of the statistics of, number one, what does a typical book for maybe a new author earn someone?
Great question. If I leave anything out, don't hesitate to ask me again, because I have one of those simple banker minds. So literally, let me give you this one statistic. According to industry reports, 96% of all traditionally published books in America are considered to be complete failures. Not just breaking even, or not just didn't do as well as they expected. They're actually reported as being complete failures to the point of actually losing money. And that's really disheartening, because the author doesn't obviously earn much money, especially if they don't earn back the advance. And then, according to also industry reports, that I don't know the exact percentage, but most authors don't ever earn more than their advance. So it's a very frustrating process. But to give you an example, the typical, and this is where my niche is, my personal interest is most in that business, self-help, how-to kind of stuff. The average business book in America sells between 3,000 and 5,000 copies before the publisher gives up on it. So it's really disheartening. So imagine if you're only getting 4.5, 5, maybe 6, and if you really got a good platform, maybe 10 or 12% royalty, which is basically a commission on the book sales. That's not a whole lot of money. And ultimately, no matter who you publish with, and this is something that not everybody understands, but ultimately, no matter who you publish with, it's still the author's responsibility to sell the books, to actually move the books from the bookstore shelf into the consumer's hand. And believe me, the publisher will be standing on your shoulder, because I've been there, be standing on your shoulder wondering why you're not doing more. And it's a backwards kind of situation.
Yeah, and let me just make sure I got that. You said 96% of traditionally published books are considered to be complete failures. 96.
96%, that's correct. I believe that was from the Simba report that was released late last year. Actually, complete failures. That's disheartening.
That is disheartening. And then, and you're saying
it can kind of help you understand. Oh, I didn't mean to talk over you. I was going to tell you, it can help you kind of understand why companies like Houghton Mifflin, which is a major publisher, who published Mark Twain, by the way, they're $7 billion in debt. Now, nobody ever talks about this, but they're literally, finally starting to confess over the past few months, they're $7 billion in debt. And they said they couldn't afford to buy any more books, and it's amazing to see that. I mean, just to carry that debt, just to pay the interest for having that debt is $700 million a year, and they can't afford to do that anymore either. It's an unbelievably broken system.
It sounds like it.
Where's the publisher bailout? But we don't need any. But there's a lot of the publishers.
Well, and then we will of course bring this back around to how your company is perfectly poised in this economy, in this market. I want to just clarify a couple more things to kind of get people the cold hard truth about the publishing world. So you're saying the 3,000 to 5,000 copies before a publisher gives up. So talk a little bit more about that, because I know there's also a magic number of books that need to be sold. You get a book in a bookstore, there's some kind of magic number range of books need to be sold within a certain period of time, or else they start to pull the books. And then say a little bit more about what you're talking about, the 3,000 to 5,000 before the publisher gets up.
Sure. In fact, it's really comical. That 3,000 to 5,000 is what's really, and they all expect more, but it seems to be what they hope to get at least. But the reality is, anything for an entrepreneurial author, it really doesn't make a difference how many books you sell. It's because you can leverage the fact that you are the expert. You can charge more and negotiate less for your services. You can create alternate streams of income because you are now the recognized authority. However, if you can help get your book even past that 6,000 book sales mark, that's when people start to pay attention. A typical best-selling book, and this is from authors from our database as well as authors that haven't quite converted over, If they exceed that 6 to 10 to 15,000 book sales, well, that's a bestseller, in most publishers' eyes. Now, obviously, there's the John Grishams and the Mark Victor Hansons who sell well beyond that, which only represents less than 1% of all books published in America.